Welcome to the Mind of Business Success podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Cramer. Our guest today is Michael Buzinski. Let's talk about getting buzzworthy. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hey, thanks for having me, Alicia.
Okay, so now you intrigued me pre-hit the record button about your rule of 26. And we're talking about marketing here, but your brilliant concept here. So excited to learn about it personally, as well as, of course, to share it with all of my listeners, because you're talking about increasing website traffic in a way that is actually yielding substantial return on investment. And it sounds very scientific. So let's get into that. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thanks.
And can you tell us about your business?
So my name is Michael Buzinski. Like she said, most people call me Buzz. So yeah, you're more than welcome to do that, Alicia. So I own a company called Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing, and we work with service-centric businesses everywhere from their infancy stage all the way through exit. So marketing has different stages, or there's different types of marketing for each of the business stages in a business life cycle. And so I've been around for about 17 years now in business. I've worked with over 1,200 companies, and we're really good at finding profitable ways of marketing websites and for their businesses.
Okay, now the rule of 26. You put out a book.
Yes.
And you
for those who are watching,
you teach it all. You've got to share with us, what is the rule of 26?
So the rule of 26 is a website strategy, really just wrapped around a notion that, so what I run into a lot, especially for service-based businesses, consultants, and some of the legal professions, even worse so than others, they don't think that their website makes them any money. And it's not that their website's not making them any money, it's the marketing around their website. And the reason is because they don't know what objectives to achieve to create revenue. Because out there in the ether of marketing genius and gurus and all the other things is this like just plethora of KPIs, key performance indicators that people utilize. Most of them are vanity KPIs. They're just there to make somebody look good, either the client or the marketer, or maybe a little bit of both, right? So the marketer is always trying to keep their job, right? And but the business owner is looking to make money from their marketing. They want ROI. So when the pandemic hit, I really felt for the clients who I couldn't work with. And it was a really tough time for marketers because it's like, we knew we could help these people, but they didn't know who we were, because there's a lot of us out there and there's a lot of them, and just everybody's worried about themselves, which is perfectly fine in a pandemic. So I wrote the book so that I could get it out to as many people as possible and show people how to profitably approach their website marketing. And so the rule of 26 states that if you increase the website traffic to your website by 26%, and then increase your conversion rate by 26% from that traffic, and increase your average revenue per client from those conversions, you will have a compounded output of 100% more revenue coming from your website.
Powerful.
So it's math. Most people are like, well, what's a case study? Anybody who increases either thing. It's not, there's a lot of soft math out there in marketing, right? It's a creative industry. But it's backed. Good marketing needs to be backed by math. It is anybody who, like, I was born ambidextrous, and so I have a lot of that creative and math going. My wife says I am a walking calculator when it comes around. Like, so well, that thing's 32% up. Yeah, that's about to. Oh my gosh, how did you just do that? Right? Like, that's just what my brain works that way. It knows, right? It can do math fast. And And it lends to the creativity too, because it allows me to be able to explain things that are very math and boring driven in a much more fun way.
So it's good to have someone like you around, right? You're like
Always.
the perfect companion, the walking calculator that can put it into layman's terms. And from a marketing perspective, you've been at this for a very, very long time. So I want to dive into that a little bit more, because here we are, we're talking to a listener base of business owners, all different stages. And you were very clear that different stages require different types of marketing. And that is not something that is often stated by marketers. A lot of marketers that are tactic-based marketers, maybe they've got their sort of thing, whether it's Facebook ads or just even pay-per-click in general or PR or whatever. It's not advantageous for them to say, hey, you may not actually be at the right place in your business to utilize this as a viable source for new business. And that's not, of course, saying that, if you're a new business, you shouldn't be doing any of certain types of advertising, but there certainly are ways that are going to be more advantageous to do certain types of marketing than others. From your perspective, being in the marketing game for as long as you have, and now you have shared with us this rule of 26, knowing that we've got people listening who are all across the board in terms of where they are in their business, I love for you to sort of dig into that wisdom that you've got all in that head of yours. And is there something that you can speak to with regard to how to really start to implement marketing in a more strategic, sensible way? Maybe even what are some of the things people should be doing regardless of what stage they're at, or things that are foundational that should always be an ongoing piece of their marketing?
I think that strategy is an ongoing thing that no matter where you are in your business life cycle, you must be doing. Period. End of story. Unfortunately, like you were mentioning earlier, tactical marketing, which is very necessary. Without tactical marketing, no marketing happens. Okay. Problem is that without good strategy, a lot of bad marketing happens. Okay. Because you're trying to use the wrong tools for outcomes that you're looking for. Right. And so when you say like a PR, I'm like, I pick on PR. I like PR. PR has a place. PR has a mission. It has an objective. And if your strategy doesn't match with that objective, then you're wasting time and energy and money right off the bat by putting the wrong tool into the toolbox, because it's taking up space. Your budget and time dictate how much you have, how many tools you can have in your box. When you're first starting out, PR is a game of earning media, right? You're not directly paying for it. And that to some sounds really good because they're like, well, I don't have a lot of money. I have more time, right? And that's the two types of people, of entrepreneurs we have. Entrepreneurs with more money than time, or more time than money. So PR sounds like, oh, there we go. I can earn it because I'm willing to spend my time because I don't have any money to put towards it. Problem is that a good PR firm is going to cost you just as much as paid advertising in a lot of senses. So where PR does really well, in my opinion, is that it's when you're looking at bigger fish, bigger media places, right? Bigger markets where you can take that larger amount of money for a good PR firm, because good PR firms are not cheap. And they shouldn't be because they're very well connected. You're paying for their networks and all this other stuff, okay? So I'm using that as an example. Like when you're first starting out, your PR might just be going down to the local public television station and seeing what they have for brand new businesses, just so that you can get on television and talk to somebody, right? And then guess what you're going to have behind you, right? Your cadre is going to follow you with cameras and say, "Wow, look, Susie's got on television. That's so cool," right? And that's awesome. But the person who's been around for 20 years and they're past like into the 8 figures, they're doing like 10 million. Do you think that that's how they're going to be dealing with PR? No, because they have that 20 years of experience that they have to share, right? And so their stage is different. And the people to get them on those stages have to be well connected. So that's one example of how the same tool is being used two different ways, right? And that's where strategy comes in. So when you're starting out or whether you're getting ready to exit, you have a strategy, right? You're trying to grow in the beginning, but as you get further along, there's going to be a time where you're ready to scale, and the two are different. But no matter what strategy you're actually going after, what phase your strategy is trying to achieve, you're always going to be looking at who are you doing business with. So this is the actual answer to your question. Sorry it took me that long to get there.
No,
but
that was really good. So I'm glad you went there.
Your average revenue per client is dictated by whom you are spending time trying to do business with. Okay. Most businesses and business owners specifically are okay dealing with clients that are less than effective, less than efficient clients. What I mean by that is when you have a client that fits your service, the way you do business really well, they become highly efficient clients to get happy, and happy customers come back, right? So if you're trying to get square pegs into round holes when it comes to clients and your services, that means you're making all this effort to get the same thing done. And that's inefficient. It's unprofitable. So when we look at average revenue per client, it's not always about raising your prices by 26%, which, by the way, for most seasoned companies can do, because they can go directly to their best clients and go, if I'm charging you $100 for this service, and I came to you and said, I need to charge you $126, how upset would you be upset? And their best clients will say, no, I was waiting for you to raise the prices because I think it's worth even more than that. Now we know what our value is to our best clients. Now, when we take that and we go, okay, now who are you? Because there's more like that person. You probably have multiple of those clients in your list of clients now, right? So what do they like about your service? Why do they like how you do business? What are the problems they are specifically going through? And when we take that and we synthesize the specifics to the perfect client that just told you, you can get done bringing your one of those objectives to the Rule of 26, you can do just by asking a question to your current clients, right? And so now I know, okay, now I know what my price is. And now I can start asking those people what it is that I need to know to find more people like them. And once you understand that whole that whole story, if you will, you can now plug that into how you talk about your business and who you serve and how you serve them on your website, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. Your website is the perfect salesperson. It works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It doesn't take sick days, doesn't take vacation, doesn't ask for raises, and nor does it get bonuses. Does exactly what you do every single time. Exactly what you told it to do every single time. So if you can dial that in and you get that perfect flow to where, okay, the right people are saying yes, because this is where a lot of people mess up. They try to get everybody to their website, and then they say, okay, yeah, you're all to our website. Now come over here and talk to us. And they're talking to all the wrong people. Not all phone calls are profitable phone calls, just as much as not all clients are profitable clients. Now, once we've done that, we can now reverse engineer that and go, okay, where are those people hiding? Now, how do we find that out? The same way you found out how to talk about them. Go right back to them. What associations are you part of? Who are your friends, right? What organizations do you support? What nonprofits do you volunteer for? This is where these people are hiding. So now what we need to do is get our message and our website address in front of those people at those places.
Seems very, very obvious, right? And yet,
that's the strategy.
Right.
Strategy is something that doesn't have to be difficult, right? Because it's a lot of theory. Now you have to go do it, though. That's where most people don't get the strategy to the tactic, right? They want to skip all of the little steps of asking, right? I had a multi-million-dollar cleaning company, one of my clients, and they've been in business for 26 years. And the owner said, we know our clients. We've done the research. Okay, great. That's awesome. Can I see your research? And they gave us the research, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. This is getting us a couple steps ahead. Yeah, it's like, great. But there's some questions that I want to know. Like, they didn't ask the one thing. What is so special about this company that you are here 15 years later, still getting your house cleaned? And one of the things that the ownership was looking to get rid of was flexibility in their scheduling. I only had to talk to 15 of their clients to find out that flexibility was one of the top 3 things they found valuable to the service.
That would have been a really painful lesson to learn the hard way.
Now, even worse, if we didn't do that homework, okay, and then we marketed away from flexibility, what would that have done with the new clients that we're trying to bring in? We would not be connecting with the same type of people, because the same type of people value flexibility, and you are now marketing in flexibility. So now I'm bringing people who don't match my perfect avatar, because I was about to start working my way away from my perfect avatar.
So good. So right now, gears are turning in people's heads, because a lot of people are trying to make these marketing decisions, and they're even creating their marketing strategy without very, very important data. So now it makes a whole lot of sense of why a lot of people's marketing is falling flat.
A lot of times it's because of lack of research. So I have an acronym for marketing. There's 6 stages of marketing, or 6 phases, if you will. We have strategy. There you go. Number 1, we're there, right? Then it's identify opportunity. Then it's market research. And then from those 3, we can start planning, launching, and evaluating. And we start all back over. And it's a loop of 6 phases of your marketing. Most people will one, either skip the strategy or the marketing research, or they'll do the strategy but not try to identify the opportunities. Remember when we said, hey, once we have all that information, now we're going to go back and ask, hey, where can we talk to those people? Those are opportunities, right? Opportunities are sometimes shortcuts to the truth that you need for your research, right? Because once I understand where those opportunities, now I can go research those opportunities and figure out how we're going to get that. What can we do here? Where do we point this boat? Then from there, we start planning how we're going to implement it and make sure the plan's all ready and it's tidy and all that good stuff. And then we launch said plan. And the most important thing that most people don't do right is evaluate. They don't know what to measure or how to measure it. But that's where the rule of 26 comes in, because we have 3 metrics that are all tied to revenue. So if you focus on those 3 metrics, you're always making more money.
So good. Okay. Now, I'd love to keep extracting greatness from you, but for the sake of time, I know that I want to squeeze in one other question that is more targeted at you, the business owner. And are you willing to share with us one mindset obstacle that you've personally had to overcome in all of your years of business to get to where you are today?
I do. I probably have another 5 shows of those mindsets to go over. So part of my journey was actually restructuring a multi-million-dollar marketing firm that was growing itself broke about 4 years ago. Okay. And so one of the mindsets was my mindset on money. Okay. And it relates to one of the objectives in the Rule 26, which is my average revenue per client. See, I was focused on micro businesses for a very long time. Okay. And we did micro businesses, mom and pops, decently sized small businesses. We worked in industries that were high revenue, small footprint, all of those things. Okay. And one of the things we did is we had a flat rate for no matter who came through the door. And in that rate, even for the micro businesses, was probably too little. One of the things as service-based businesses we do on a regular is discount the value of our time, and therefore discount the service we provide. So the mindset is this: when you discount your service, you are discounting the outcome, because you can't pay, or I'm sorry, if you don't charge 100% of what you're worth, you cannot give 100% of the value you have to offer. That mindset right there has made my clients more money, me 3 times more profitable, because of all the things we just talked about, right? I'm doing the same stuff that I wrote about for my own business, right? Because I needed to figure out who values me for what I'm worth, because those are the people who will pay me what I'm worth so that I can give them 100% of that value. And when I do that, I need to pay attention to who they are, so that all of my marketing is talking directly to them, so that anybody who doesn't meet that is going to not connect and go the other way. I will never have to talk to them. I will never waste their time or mine on them, right? And I can have all of my focus on the people who value the most. That one mindset changes all of those things.
I love that. I would love to add my 2 cents on this whole topic. It really is a common issue for business owners. A lot of us grew up in environments where there was maybe some scarcity, or it could have been lower, even middle class mindset. And when you are always seeing everything through that lens, you're projecting onto other people your money mindset, your belief about what it's going to be worth to them. I had to do a tremendous amount of work in that area myself. And it's fascinating, because as I became so busy that I had to keep raising my rates, and more clear about who my ideal clients were, it's amazing. Honestly, I know that a lot of people cannot afford me. I realize that, but I also know that the people who come to me, I can help them so tremendously because of where they're at and where they're going. And I had to also remember that there's so many people out there providing services to help people at all different levels financially. I'm not the only mindset coach, right? So if someone can't afford me, there literally are tens of thousands of other people who potentially could help that client. And so you are not doing yourself or anyone else any favors by discounting yourself. There's all of that resentment and the frustration and your own stress, and you're just not in your zone of genius when you are working too much, when you are, worried about the bottom line, when you are resentful about, your discount clients, it's worth doing the work. We'll just say that.
It is. And it's funny because you said afford. I don't think it's about affording you. It's about being in a place in your life that investment fits. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not that you're too expensive. You're just not the echelon of mindset coach that somebody who can't afford you needs you to be. And that doesn't mean that maybe someday you say, you know what? I want to serve those people that couldn't afford me there, because that mindset, they got to break through that mindset to get to this mindset that I'm serving right now. That doesn't mean that you have to charge less for those people. It means you have to find ways to leverage your assets, including time, so that you can get more of that knowledge out to more people in less time.
Yes.
The one-to-one is a premium for those who need that much more attention. Since you're more expensive, you're more inclusive. You have more to offer at that level. And anybody who's willing to give that same amount for that amount of attention for less is not as good a coach as you are. And they are working through their own mindset issues while trying to serve the same people you are, which is a disjustice to the people they're trying to attract as clients.
Absolutely. That was a nugget of gold right there. And a lot of people who are in business for a while, they sort of kind of stumble upon this awareness at some point. And for me, it was creating my Inner Game Academy, which is a way that I can serve more people at a lower price point. And it is a way to leverage my time so much better. Whereas I may never be able to work with people for $97 a month,
Right.
They can get all of what I'm able to offer in a different format for a price that they can afford. And these are the things, right, that somebody like yourself is able to help, right? You're able to help your clients because you've been there, you've done that, you've got that expertise. And I absolutely love that. So I have to thank you, Michael, for being with us today. I have not yet read his book. Just by the time you guys are watching this, listening to this, I likely will have purchased it. I may even be all the way through it. I am absolutely intrigued. I've got quite a bit of a marketing background myself, and I have to say, I have not heard anything articulated in this way. So I'm super excited to get into it.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Yes. And just so you know, it's only 120 pages.
So an easy read.
We're a bunch of busy people. We don't need a bunch of anecdotal filler in our books. We need the juice. And so by page 22, you actually get the Rule of 26.
All right. So now I assume they can get that off of your website.
There is a website for it. It's also on Amazon, both ebook and paperback. You can go to ruleof26.com to get a direct link on Amazon for that audiobook, possibly coming out in 2023. We'll see. Along with my next book, which is the 50/50 Marketing Paradox, because half of your marketing is working, you just don't know which. And but if you want to hear about we have a choose your own adventure digital marketing firm called Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing, where we have DIY done with you and done for you solutions. So no matter where you're at in your marketing and your budget, we will find a solution to meet your strategy. So
good. All right. Any other places you want to direct our listeners to connect with you?
You can check out our marketing podcast. I love this mindset podcast. I'm gonna have to be a subscriber now. And that one is youarebuzzworthy.biz.
Excellent. So you heard it here. So much goodness. Make sure you connect with Michael. Michael, thanks again for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Alicia. It was a lot of fun.
And thank you to all of our listeners. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so. And until next time, we will see you in the next episode.